And of course, that when they know how to meditate, they know how to be resilient. And also teach that for the kids doing their exams. Because again, I was really fortunate. I learned my meditation when I was at university. So when it came to the final exams, this is my final exam story, that I don't know how they could allow this. So obviously they don't do this these days. But it was in theoretical physics. And it was a 3-hour exam in the morning, an hour's lunch, and then a 3-hour in the afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in a row. That was terrible. That was really stressful for most students. But what I did, the 1 hour I had for lunch, I never ate lunch. Because I was a layperson, I had a big breakfast and I had dinner in the evening. So I never had any lunch. I just went back to my room, sat on my cushion and meditated. And that's so brilliant, what happened. What it did was the first time, you can imagine, I was only a layperson, had enough understanding about meditation that when I sat down, crossed my legs on a cushion, made it nice and comfortable, and just relaxed my body, the first thing which I noticed was the past. The exam I just completed, this was supposed to be important. This was supposed to define the success and failure in life. You pass and then you can do anything. You fail, you're in big trouble. And as I often comment, if only I had known I was going to be a monk, I wouldn't have worried at all. But the past exam, the one I just done an hour ago, finished about half an hour ago, you can't change it now. It's in, pass, fail, right answer, wrong answer. It's done. And it's so obvious you couldn't change it. And it was also obvious that the more I worried about the past exam, the more I was going to get tired and frustrated and wouldn't have energy to do the afternoon exam. And because you meditated, you knew how to let go of the past. So you let it go. Bye-bye, past exam. Good, bad, who knows, it's gone. And then, when I let go of the past exam, what happened next? The afternoon exam. I started worrying about the future. Should I get my books out and do more study on quantum mechanics or something? I also realized at the time, I don't know, this was experience more than anything else. When I say this little opinion, based on experience, most other people agree with me. That everything you study and read and 1 hour before the exam never ever comes up. Never. And anyway, I realized the best way of preparing for the future exam was to rest in the present moment. I need to energize my brain, not wear it out. So I let go of the future. Then I came into the present moment. But what I noticed with the present moment, again, was shocking. Because I could now observe my body shaking. There was tension, nerves, if you like, anxiety. This was supposed to be a really big event. The final examinations, 3 years, nothing mattered at all in those 3 years except those exams. You could be brilliant, all the other exams, but the final exams were the only ones which counted. A lot of pressure. But I was physically shaking. And the only time I've really seen myself physically shake like that. And of course, once you were aware of it, you had mindfulness, it's pretty easy just to relax, because mindfulness gives you feedback. You do this, is the shaking more? No, it's less, so carry on that way, just relax in the present moment. And so my body could be at ease. And the last thing I noticed, only half an hour meditation, those lunch hours, the last thing I noticed was just, you could really experience how exhausted your brain was, how tired it was. And the only description which when I wrote about that, the only description which seemed to fit was like, because I like tea, and you have tea bags are more convenient. It's like a tea bag which had already been used. Had no energy left, all the caffeine or whatever it was out of it. And that's how my brain felt. Just really exhausted. That brain, you're just really exhausted. Not physical, because you've been working and you've been talking or writing or something, and you feel just, intellectually, mentally, no energy left. That was my brain. But I also know just how to restore that energy. Said that many times, be really still and peaceful. And then the energy comes back. I could see it coming back. So after half an hour meditation, when I went back into that exam room, I did really well in the afternoon. That was actually how to prepare your mind for a big test. And it was only afterwards, and we didn't talk to each other at the time. It was crazy. It's one of the reasons I really do not like exams. The reason was that you'd be sitting next to your best friend, and they were struggling with the answer. You knew the answer. Why can't I tell them? It's compassion. I don't see my best friend struggling, and I don't know the answer, hey, it's this answer. I call that kindness. They called it cheating. Anyhow, so their friends afterwards, they told me, and I really honor and cherish this comment. They said I was the only student in that exam room who went into the room in the afternoon smiling. Apparently I had a smile on my face. And that's actually very rare, apparently, when you do exams, especially final exams, when your life is supposed to depend upon it. And I was smiling because I'd been relaxed, and that's why you did very well. And so that was where you start to learn, from experience, how this meditation, even the small stuff we do, it allows you to be empowered with resilience, know how to face difficulties, and to be much more successful in your life, no matter what happens. And also just know what the joy of life is. We often say, the insight into suffering, but also the insight into happiness. What is happiness? Have you had a happy time here this last 8 or 9 days? If you had a choice, either come here for another retreat or go to a 6-star resort in, say, Bali for a week, which would you choose? Bali. Yeah, I know you. But I think you get what I mean.